As Caroline Malone reports, health workers are among the most vulnerable in the region.
A new suspected case of Ebola is rushed to hospital in Sierra Leone every few hours. But many other people are afraid to go to hospital because of the association with people dying from the deadly virus. The driver of this ambulance is wearing green protective gear, but without a mask or goggles. He's only partially protected.
These health workers are overstretched, and because they are overstretched, they do occasionally forget to go through the normal routines that we encourage them to do when handling Ebola-infected cases.
Ebola spreads from contact with an infected person's bodily fluids like blood, urine and sweat. People can get the disease by handling soiled sheets or clothing, making health workers and carers particularly vulnerable. Hundreds of security personnel have been drafted in to enforce quarantines in badly hit areas. And there's an education campaign to encourage people to seek help if they have Ebola symptoms such as fever, vomiting and body aches.
We are appealing to the international community to come to the aid of the people of Sierra Leone in order to help us minimize the killing spree that is going on by Ebola.
People may also catch Ebola by eating infected meat. Many people here hunt for bushmeat. Some airlines have halted flights to the worst-hit cities of West Africa. Health screening has been introduced at Nigeria's main airport. The disease appeared almost 40 years ago, but the Zaire strain that spread from Guinea in March is particularly vicious, killing up to 90% of the people it infects. Health workers from 13 African countries have met to discuss how best to stop the virus from killing any more people.
So one of the things that was decided was to place these areas under closer scrutiny in terms of limiting travel into and out of those particular areas.
Liberia has also been hit by the deadly disease. In that country's capital, people pray for an end to Ebola and what's become the worst outbreak ever seen of this strain. Caroline Malone, Al Jazeera.
Now, there is no known cure for Ebola, but the 2 U.S. citizens who contracted the virus in Liberia are thought to have been treated with a new experimental drug. For more on that, let's speak to Dr. Rossi Hassad, who's an associate professor at Mercy College in New York. Welcome to the program, Doctor. So these 2 U.S. aid workers being treated with a drug that I believe has only been tested so far on monkeys. Is that right?
That is correct.
Tell us more about the drug. Apparently, these 2 aid workers are responding well. They appear to be improving, but it's not clear if that's just because of this drug, right?
Well, they claim it's the drug, and given the mechanism of action of this drug, it is intended to boost the immune system, then it's plausible to expect that outcome at this time. Although we must caution that given the way that Ebola virus infection behaves, that one cannot be too optimistic at this time.
It is a tricky virus, isn't it? People have had relapses even after showing initial signs of improving.
Indeed, indeed. And that's what I was saying earlier. And given that we have no baseline in terms of a drug here, this is very, very tenuous at this time.
It is too soon, is it, to be rolling this drug out and giving it to other people who've been infected with Ebola?
No, I think that is emerging as a controversial issue, but one that is not well founded. The exercise of good judgment will show that we're dealing with an extraordinary infection here, one that's aggressive, with a very high fatality rate. And at this point, if there was ever a time to apply the compassionate rule, it is now.
Okay, so
to allow
yeah, sorry to interrupt, Dr. Hassad. How should they proceed then? Should more testing be done on humans with this drug? I mean, you know, if it does hold the possibility of a cure for this virus that's spreading.
Well, I think the first order of business or the priority here is to make it available to those who are good candidates at this time. I think it will be silly, immoral, and almost criminal to stare death in the eye and not use the only ammunition we have. It's not a tested and approved therapy, but it's a potential treatment, and it's the best we have at this time. It has met standards of pharmacological plausibility and logic of the function of the human body, and it has been successful with animal models, primarily monkeys.
Okay, Dr. Hassad, thank you for speaking to us. Dr. Rossi Hassad, Associate Professor at Mercy College there in New York.